everyone, my name is Aashima and I'm a final year medical student at the University of Melbourne in Australia. Pinch me, I cannot believe I'm already a final year. Come with me today as I prep for my upcoming job applications and also learn about the most notoriously difficult junior doctor job known as cover shift. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later in the video, but most importantly for now, my placement doesn't start until 5 p.m. What a luxury. You know what that means. I'm gonna have a nice, slow, easy start to the day, cuddled up in bed with my book and my puppies. I try to bake the dogs back to bed, but they've got other ideas involving mauling stuffed animals. I'm reading a fantastic book. It's called The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker. And it's all about trusting your instincts, because your instincts and that gut feeling is a way that your subconscious mind is communicating to you that there is something up that you should investigate. I head downstairs to get started on some chores. It is so cold in Melbourne at the moment that unless I get all my washing in on Friday, it won't dry by the following week and I don't have a dryer. So we're out here doing what we gotta do. I then brush my teeth and decide to make myself a protein smoothie using this Keep It Cleaner chocolate protein powder. It's really delicious. I really like this one. I'm on a mission to put on some more muscle mass, so I've got some very generous tablespoons here, scooping my protein out. I then add some vanilla yogurt and some milk to mix it all together, give it a good shake, and then move on to part 2 of my breakfast. This next flavor combo, do not knock it until you try it, because it is the best thing to hit my palate in 2023. It's papaya with tahini. Okay, I don't like papayas by themselves. I think they actually taste kind of gross, but the combination with tahini is so bloody delicious. It's just a subtle flavor. The papaya weird aftertaste gets cancelled out by the tahini and it's just bloody delicious. I used to be a vegetarian when I was younger and it would wig me out how much this looked like caviar. Honestly, it's still a bit gross if I think about it too long. And I prepped 2 of these, so I'll have one now and then I'll put one in the fridge so I can have a quick, easy snack sometime later. I put on another load of washing and then head back upstairs to make my bed. I distinctly remember the day that I realized I was an adult, and it was when I asked my mum to buy me a doona for my 22nd birthday. I decided to wear my favorite activewear set today, which is this $10 set I got from Sports Girl, because I did a run of activewear and they don't do it anymore, and I got it as a discontinued item. Such a good fit and such nice material. I get attacked by a little bush pig as I try to put on my shoes and socks. She is so flipping adorable, I can't even stand it sometimes. It's hair washing day today, so I oil my scalp before going to the gym. During the pandemic, I had a lot of hair fallout, so I decided to take action and actually do something about the quality of my hair because I just wasn't happy with it. So I started oiling it with jojoba, rosemary, and peppermint oil every few days, and it has made such a difference to my hair. I think the main difference is that my scalp is so much better moisturized that the hair doesn't break off at the root. I think it's improved the integrity of the skin on my scalp and therefore improved the quality of my hair overall. I focus a lot more on being consistent at the gym than doing any duration of exercise. So even if I go to the gym and do one exercise, I count that as a successful gym day for myself. Today I'm starting off with my usual 20-minute incline walk at around 7 kilometers an hour. Then I do a plank, which I am clearly struggling with, haven't planked in a while. I'm haunted by a news article I read once about how a man did a 20-hour plank. What the fuck? And then onto some goblet squats with a 20-kilogram kettlebell. Yes, it is time for my favorite part of going to the gym, which is going to the sauna. I try to stay in here for around 15 minutes and it just makes me feel fantastic. Come home and do a quick tidy of my desk because it's looking like this. I wash all that oil out of my hair and all that sweat off of my body and then dry my hair with my Dyson Airwrap. I wanted to not like this tool so much, but I actually love it. I've been thinking about making a video about it, so let me know if you would like to see that. For our intern job applications, the interview is actually a huge part of the process. We have to submit a CV cover letter and an interview, and the interview is weighted at 35%, so it's quite a lot. And one of the ways that I've been studying for this upcoming interview is by doing practice situational judgment test questions. The situational judgment tests you on scenarios that you would come across in the hospital and how you would react to those and what you think an appropriate response is to these scenarios. I've found that the questions and answers for the situational judgment test have been so helpful for me constructing my answer for the interviews, because it basically tells you what the right answer or the best practice answer is. And so if you haven't been in that situation before, at least you can learn from the questions how you would approach that particular problem. How I've been working the situational judgment test practice into my routine is I have a page in Notion where I have the practice exams saved. And then whenever I have the time, I'll just sit down and do 5 or 10 questions, whatever I have the time for, and then hand write out the answers. So we'll do one together here now. Let's do question 18 together. You are on the ward round with your consultant and attend to a patient who's been complaining of a severe headache and neck stiffness. Before the consultation has finished, a nurse interrupts to inform the consultant that he is needed urgently to see another patient. The consultant asks you to conduct a lumbar puncture while he's away. You've not done this or observed this procedure before. Okay. I've certainly not done a lumbar puncture myself. I've seen plenty, but I don't think that would make me confident or competent to do them myself. Rank in order the appropriateness of the following actions in response to the situation. Most appropriate to least appropriate. What I like to do for these questions is find the most glaringly wrong answer and put that at the end, and then try to work my way through the rest of the options. So let's see if there's one that sticks out like a sore thumb. Conduct the procedures to the best of your ability. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. That's probably the worst answer. I haven't even looked at the rest of them yet, so I'm going to put that last for now. So A, find another colleague to conduct the procedure while you observe. That's a pretty good option. Telephone a neurology specialty trainee for advice on how to conduct the procedure. Still not great because you wouldn't have seen it. So that doesn't really make sense. I feel like that's not very good either. Inform the consultant away from the patient that you have not conducted this procedure before. Find a senior colleague to supervise you conducting the procedure. You've never observed it, so I don't think it's appropriate to be doing it supervised or not. You should at least have seen it before you're attempting to do it. So far working backwards. A, I think is the worst one. Conduct the procedure, yep. C, telephone the remote. Yeah, find a senior to supervise you conducting, yeah. I don't think that, I think that goes next. E. Well, I guess he's urgently seeing another patient, so maybe I'll put B and then D. Okay, so I think what I have is B, D, E, C, A. Let's see what the actual answer is. No, that's not too bad. D, I just got that order wrong, so D, E, C, A. Okay, so that's pretty good. Like, I've gotten the gist of the question pretty much correct. Everyone is always going to have one or two things that are flipped around the wrong way. I don't think it's end all be all. The most wrong ones I know are most wrong, and the most correct ones I know are down that end of the spectrum. So I think that would still get you a pretty good score. So let's just see what their rationale is. This question is about realizing your limitations, seeking senior advice appropriately, and assessing your ability to safely and responsibly manage the patient. The preferred conduct would be to inform the consultant responsible for the patient/supervising consultant and seek advice. And then what I do is hand write the rationale that I'm trying to embed into my memory, because handwriting just helps you remember so much more. So for this, I will write down, if a consultant asks me to do something that I'm not comfortable doing, I should let them know immediately. So we got the rest right. So I'll just have a skim of the answer. It's preferable to see an A, as you would have a senior colleague directly supervising you who could intervene if they need to. C is preferable to A, as you're getting some advice regarding how to do the procedure at the very least. And A is the least appropriate, like we discussed, because it's very dangerous to go about doing stuff that you're not trained to do. I'm going to work through a couple more of these questions, and then I'm meeting up with some friends shortly over Zoom so we can actually practice some interviews. I still haven't eaten since I got home from the gym, so I decided to fix myself an egg sandwich before meeting up with my friends. I'm enjoying my eggs over easy at the moment and quite spicy. So I'm going for a sriracha mayo and chili oil egg sandwich, which is really, really good. This chili oil in particular, I've been loving. It would of course be rude to not put some egg aside for the most important beings in my life. After we all finish lunch, I pack up and then head back upstairs to do my interview prep. Or have their frustrations and show that I have One of the questions that we're working on today is that you forgot to complete a discharge summary and the GP calls you quite frustrated. What is the importance of the discharge summary and how would you handle this call? Whether the patient is in the office with them at the moment or whether they're coming in later today, so I can triage the urgency of sending over the discharge summary. If they're in the... Our interviews are all online. We get 3 questions with 1 minute reading time and then 2 minutes answering time. And we submit them to an online portal, and then all of the hospitals across Victoria that we've applied to all get a chance to see our interviews. And this is the final piece of information that they use to determine who's going to get a spot at the hospital. Wasn't able to be sent over in a timely manner, whether it was something that slipped through the cracks and I need to create a better system to track the discharge summaries completed and incompleted, or whether it's a caseload issue and this is something I need to discuss with my senior staff. That's the time. I'm just about to head off onto my shift, so I thought it would be a good time to explain to you guys what cover shift actually is. I certainly didn't know what it was until this year when I saw it crop up on my timetable, but it's a really important job. So at the hospital, how the timetabling normally works is there's morning staff who start during the day, roughly 7 to 5, and then there's nighttime staff who start in the evening around 10 o'clock and working until the morning. I'm going to use general surgery as an example because I'm on my general surgery cover tonight. In the morning, across the 5 different surgical teams there's roughly 10 or so interns manning the decks for all of those teams. Cover shift is the time between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. where the morning staff have clocked off and the nighttime staff haven't come in yet. During that time, there is one intern who is manning the decks across all 5 of those surgical teams. So my placement tonight is being buddied up with the intern who's on cover shift tonight and learning what the job is all about so that I can do it next year. Multiple people have told me that this is the hardest job in intern year because it's a lot to manage and prioritize. I'm really interested to see what this shift is all about because seeing the worst of it, the worst of what the intern job will be like, is going to help me know what to expect next year. I'm going to head off now because it's about to hit peak hour and I'll catch you guys when I get back.
Hello, Dizzy. Hello, Dizzy. Where's your sister? Hello, Willie. Good girl. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Just got home from placement. It's around 10:30, so I've got to make a really fast dinner. I'm making a tray of roast veggies. This is my go-to combination of string beans, red onion, and cauliflower. I coat it with a pretty generous serve of olive oil and salt and pepper, and then put it in the oven at 220 for about half an hour. I anticipated my late dinner, so I'd marinated some chicken breasts earlier on. I made a marinade with soy sauce, brown sugar, Worcestershire, garlic, and lemon, and it caramelizes so beautifully. I obviously like my chicken a bit on the carcinogenic side. The brown sugar is what's giving it this nice crust, and my mouth is watering watching this back. Veggies are done and time to plate up, always with an audience. I add some gravy over the vegetables for some extra flavour and voila! I'm watching Lego Masters at the moment, so I watch that to zone out and enjoy my meal. Alright, so Gen Surge cover shifts, what did I think? Firstly, I lucked out today because the intern that was on cover tonight was someone that I'd met previously on a previous team and she's really nice. So it was great to see her again. Oh, hang on, I'm just going to let my dogs in. Good girls, come on. So I got to the cover shift and the first thing I did was, oh my God. What, just realised that I've been playing Harry Potter Legacy in the background. Sorry about that. Can't be bothered refilming it though. The first thing that I did when I got there and I met up with the intern was log on to our instant messaging app. So now there's no pages in the hospital anymore. We just use an instant messaging app that is internal to the hospital. So I logged into that app so I could receive the messages that my intern was receiving as well, so I could try to help her out during the day. The first few hours was super quiet. There wasn't really anything for us to do. We just sat in the office and waited on standby. And then there was a MET call. The MET call was for a patient who had tachycardia, so we made our way over to that patient. A MET call is an emergency call within the hospital, and as a junior, your job is to understand what the plan is going forward and execute the plan. So what our role was is that we had to order bloods and order medication for this patient. So we did that, and that situation was handled in about half an hour. But then when we went back to the instant messaging app to see what had gone on, there was about 20 or 30 new requests. So it had really kicked off in that time that we were just in that med call. I tried really hard to help out with triaging the requests that were coming through. It was quite difficult for me to do still. I know and I noticed that chest pain and drop in someone's conscious state, so drop in their Glasgow coma scale, is important, and that I need to get to that first. But more nuanced things like adjusting someone's diabetes medication for their certain blood glucose, that is one that I have difficulty prioritizing, and my filter for recognizing which one of those calls is more urgent is difficult for me at this point. And there was quite a lot of requests about diabetes management that were coming through. One of the things that I helped out with tonight was assessing someone's fluid status. So often patients will be fasted for particular surgeries, and sometimes they'll be nil by mouth. So that means they're not going to have anything through their mouth. And these people can get quite dehydrated. So I went to this patient's bedside and took a history and exam to try to decide whether I thought that they needed more fluids. So I discussed this with my intern, and then we charted them some fluids. For another patient, we couldn't figure out whether or not they should be fasted. We looked through their files and we couldn't see if they needed to be fasted still for dinner or if they could unfast. So I had to call the surgical registrar on call to ask them about this patient's fasting status. I was quite scared to do it, but they were super nice and I got the answer and everything was all good. That's the end. If you can like and subscribe, that would be amazing, and I will see you guys next time.